going on, everyone? Good morning. I want to make sure this is running before we get started here. I wanted to share some ideas for 2020 because I know every year myself.
Good morning. I want to make sure
Good,
this is
it's
running
working.
before we get started here.
Cool, so we can hear me. So every single year, something that I've always scrambled to do. Let me pull this over here, actually. All right, that's better. So every year, something I've always scrambled to do is figure out what I can do for the next year to launch off in our clinic in an impactful way in the community. And in the past, I've done things with like new marketing strategies. We sit down, we map it out on a calendar, we set goals, and we have events that we want to do, whether they're in our office or dinner talks or lunch workshops or running monthly themes and specials inside the clinic, whatever it may be. I've done this year in and year out, except for the last couple of years, honestly, and I probably should be doing it for sure. But I wanted to share a different twist on this. If you've been in practice, a couple months or 20 plus years, and whether it's just you and you want to grow what you're doing or change what you're doing, or if you have an associate doctor and you want to get things booming for them, the thing that I would challenge you to do, and this is what I wrote in the title, is I said, planning out big marketing plan for 2020, what are you doing with your systems and the care that you deliver to your community? So that's the question is, are you always trying to sharpen things clinically? Or are you just looking at what new way to take what you've been doing for years and years and years and put a spin on it to try to attract more people? Could be either thing, right? Maybe what you're doing clinically is exactly where you want to be. You're delivering and rendering everything that you want to do for your patients, and there is no further evolution. I know for myself, I'm always trying to do a little bit more and get a little bit better, because my number one goal in my community, and I'm sure you're probably a lot like this too, is you want to be the go-to place in the community because you're getting the best results with your patients. You have the best clinical confidence, and you followed our stuff before. And the big message that we talk about and the big missing piece is adding a functional movement component, corrective exercise component, which complements chiropractic so well, I think better than anything else out there. I wanted to show you something inside of this 12 weeks to success manual. I know it's going to show up backwards here on Facebook, but it says 12 weeks to success, the guide to launching your functional movement department. And you can do this in 90 days. I'm showing you this because the timing right now, it would have been even more perfect if it was like, a month and a half ago, but the timing right now is not too late to actually launch things pretty big, like end of January, start of February. So how do you do this, and how do you ensure that your team is actually going to implement this? That's what I wanted to share. So let's say that you've been curious about this. You're thinking, man, this would be so great. But the objections in my mind are, how am I going to train my staff? How am I going to get everyone on board? Is it going to sit on the shelf and collect dust, or am I going to actually use it? The reason that we created this booklet and also a 12-week implementation success launch inside of our program is because we steered our attention towards implementation for about a good 3-month period of time a couple months ago. So I spent 3 months just mapping out, how would I take someone step by step, piece by piece, week by week, minute by minute through this process of implementation, so that we can make sure we have everyone who's joining this successfully implement. So I just want to show you the first step. I'm going to keep this short and sweet. Real quick though, you'll see that there's a link that I left on here to be able to get on a list to hear about what we're doing on Black Friday. We're going to announce this in just a couple of days. So it's called Move Now Hookups. We did this last year. It was huge. We're doing it this year, and we're doing something even bigger and even more special, but we're only going to launch it out to everyone who joins this list, so that we are not having this fall upon deaf ears. So if you want to know what's going on, just get yourself on the list, and then when we start announcing it, you'll be first to know. All right, so here's how this works. I know this might be backwards. Well, I know it is backwards. So first page here just has a little quote by Jocko Willink about overcoming procrastination. I was just listening to something this morning as I was working out in my garage, and it was talking about that every single person has 24 hours in a day, every single person. So every successful person that gets stuff done, they don't use the excuse, I don't have enough time. So what it is, and it's in this book that I'm listening to, they say that rich people buy time, poor people waste time. I thought that was a cool little saying. So what does that mean? Is that if time is your limiting resource here, then you have to find a way to leverage your time, use your time more wisely. That's why I built this, to try to help organize your time. So what we did is, in here, this is showing there's 54 tracks inside of our program, as far as like where you're at now, doing maybe no corrective exercise at all. So if you're someone that does zero rehab in office, zero functional rehab, you start here and you work your way all the way to track 54. And this is ideally a 12-week launch, 12-week implementation process. The very first thing that we do, I just want to show you how we've organized this, is let's say that you become a member of Move Now University and you talk to your team about it, and your team is all excited and they say, okay, doc, so how do we get this launched? Well, first thing you do is you print out these manuals, which is inside of our program, for all of your team. So you print out 2, 3, 10 copies, however many staff you have. And then you get together with the accountability manager. That might be your office manager, your front office person, your exercise lead, your CA, whoever. You sit down with them and you show them this ground zero section. You show them really the whole booklet, for that matter. You just show them an overview of how it's structured. And you say, okay, look, let's say her name's Sarah. You say, okay, Sarah, here's what we're going to do. We're going to schedule a staff meeting. We're going to plan on it being about an hour, hour and a half. And we're going to get the entire staff there. We're going to have these booklets ready to go. We're going to sit down and we're going to go through this ground zero section. Ground zero is how we map out when we're going to start the training, when our launch date is, and then we're going to schedule out all of our weekly training, because here's how we've organized this. This right here says ground zero, cover your bases, time estimate per department, and I have this broken up into 3 different departments: doctor, therapist, front office. I have time estimates each week, and they're extremely accurate because we went through the entire program and we counted by the minute how much time it would take to go through the video training, how much practical in-person time it would take. And we split this up: doctor, therapist, front office. So it shows like week 0, which is this one right here. This is a approximate 1.5 to 2 hour meeting just to map out ground zero. Week 1 is going to be 1.9 hours, 2.9 hours, 2.9 hours. And it goes through this whole process, and it adds up how much total time it's going to take of studying this. Again, video resources and in-person practice, so that all 3 departments are busy working on their part, but it's a manageable amount of time each week. So if you stick to this, you can get this thing launched. If you want to fast track it, you just accelerate the process. Okay. Then over on this page, this is where, when you meet with all of your staff, you have the accountability manager's name right here. What's the accountability manager do? They check in with everyone every week, because you're the doctor and you're too busy to do that. And they're going to make sure everyone is on track and they're getting all their training done. Okay. And they can show that they're getting the training done because there's a workbook and there's study questions and there's areas that say when they, like, what they're supposed to get done. And then each week you're briefly meeting with the team, and it's not that long of a meeting until you get up into these upper weeks right before the launch. Okay. So anyway, what you do, let's say Sarah's your accountability manager, Mary's your front office gal, and John's back in exercise. So all of you sit down as a team, and it says Sunday through Saturday each week, all the way through. And let's say John in exercise, he's going to look at, okay, I'm the exercise therapist. Man, okay, week 2, I got to do 5.7 hours. Week 2, where am I going to fit the 5.7 hours in outside of what I'm already doing with patient care? And that's where they start allocating those hours. They write in the times on what day they're going to commit to going through and studying those hours. And that's what they're going to do week by week by week. So I allot 2 hours to do this. It's not going to take 2 hours. It's going to take probably an hour, if that. The whole team's going to sit down. They're going to look over on this side. They're going to pick, who are they? Are they a therapist, front office, or a doctor? And they're going to commit to that time. They're going to write in the times they're going to do it. Everyone's going to have a launch date that you agree on and you're committed to. And like that whole saying, you burn the ships, meaning you can't turn back around and go anywhere else. So it's like, you got to get it done. And so you commit to this, you have a launch date, and then that's it. Then it goes on to week 1, getting started. How this is going to work. Okay, let me tell you how it's going to work. And then we take this little graphic here, which shows all 54 tracks, shows how we navigate through those allocated tracks for that first week. And then all the detailed notes as far as, again, what each department's going to do. So we have welcome to week 1 of the Move Now University program. This manual, when followed to the T, will ensure your success. Will ensure your successful implementation. So why do anything other than follow it precisely? Great. So let's begin. In this first week, the goal is to get the pieces necessary in order to get your exercise area set up and put the first dent in the Move Now University portal. So first, watch the overview video in the week 1 lesson inside of Move Now University, and then follow the steps below. So each week we have a video, that about 10-minute video, maybe 12-minute, that tells you here's everything we're going to be going over this week. Here's the lessons that you need to study. And it just makes it extremely clear so that there just are 0 variables. We eliminate all the variables. So week 1 goes through, shows how to set up the exercise area, what things need to be ordered that you might not even think about, things like even like wet wipes and file folders and whatnot, some stuff you might already have. There's study questions, there's notes. Up in the top, there's a little triangle. See, that one says 13, that one says 14. That points to the track inside of the online training. So this is track 14, and it's all the different things that you need to know. So goals and action items, notes, study questions. All right. And then it goes on to week 2, and it goes through this for 12 weeks. So that's what I wanted to cover with you. We have it all figured out so that you can implement this seamlessly, and it's the end of November right now. So if you want to do something awesome for 2020 in your community, instead of putting all of your attention on what new marketing thing can I do, which is important, I would say, why don't you either shift gears or simultaneously put something into place of saying, what additional valuable asset can we add to our clinic to improve our clinical care for our community, to make a huge impact, and then to actually lead by referrals and lead by doing Facebook Live videos about what makes you so unique and different in your community. And instead of having to have some kind of special low price offer, instead you have this higher level of clinical excellence, which is actually what people are looking for. So again, it's kind of falling back to like building density in your practice by results and not just by some special offer. I mean, you can still do a special offer. I understand the human psychology with special offers. We're doing a special offer. We're doing a thing on Black Friday to push you as the chiropractor a little bit further to taking that step to do something that's going to transform your practice and then get us connected so that we work together for years to come, so we can all share in the success and build our community of like-minded, skilled clinicians. That's our big picture. That's our big goal. That's one of our big goals for 2020 is to continue to grow this and nurture everyone in this tribe. So with that said, make sure that you jump on that link so you can get added onto the list, so that when we announce what's going on Black Friday, you'll be first to know. All right. So comment, share, let me know what you think, and we'll talk with you real soon. You'll see a lot more videos coming up leading up to Black Friday.